450 days ago, I created this Terrarium ecosystem. It's home to a vast array of tropical plants, as well as a range of creatures from a peaceful colony of shrimp to some flesh-eating vampire crabs. Before I show you how it looks today, along with some unexpected surprises, let me quickly take you back 450 days to when I created this ecosystem. To create this ecosystem, I started by attaching some cork panels to the background and then started work on the hardscape. I used maple leaf rocks along with some driftwood and then created a waterfall using some expanding foam. Next, I poured in some leaker for drainage with a good layer of substrate on top. At this point, I finished off the hardscape with some more wood as well as some sand and gravel in the foreground. I was in love with the hardscape and I knew that getting plants in would only make it look better. I added a wide selection of plants throughout the ecosystem, from ferns, epiphytes and a good range of mosses. With the planting nearly complete, I filled the paludarium up with water and then turned on the waterfall. It was so rewarding to get to this point, and all that was really left to do was to put the lids on and let the tank grow in and establish before adding the creatures. After 40 days, the plants had started to fill out the space nicely. I decided to add some cherry shrimp to the water, and after only a few weeks they started breeding and their numbers started to rapidly climb. I soon added some fish, which would help keep the shrimp population in check. These stunning emerald rasboras would pick off any shrimp that they find out in the open and add a whole lot of life to the water area. With the paludarium being over 100 days old, I decided to add the stars of the tank, the vampire crabs. I introduced 4 of them and they didn't hang around out in the open and found some cover right away. By day 150, the tank was complete. All the creatures were thriving and the plant growth had absolutely exploded. Now let's fast forward 300 days and see how this ecosystem is looking today. A whole lot has changed, but one thing's for sure is that the ecosystem is thriving, as well as the creatures within. What started as just a few patches of moss on the waterfall has developed into this canopy of greenery. Believe it or not, under this dense growth, the waterfall is still flowing nice and strong. One of my favourite things about this tank is finding the small details that I never even planned. Like this oak leaf creeping fig that's vined its way along this hardscape branch, or this java moss that's grown from under and out of the water climbing up this piece of driftwood. This philodendron has even grown right to the front of the tank where it's sent out roots to pull nutrients from the water. I could cut it back, but I think I'm going to leave it be just to see how it gets on. Things like these are the reason that keeping a tank like this one never gets old. There's always something new and unexpected to see. Whether it's a mushroom popping up overnight, the plants growing in new and unexpected ways, or the creatures creating new life, it truly never gets old. Talking about new life, I think it's about time to take a closer look at the creatures inside, as some really exciting things have happened. These once shy fish that occupy the water are now super bold and are always out and about. When looking into the water, it really feels like you're peering into a miniature world. There's always something going on and it's super relaxing and almost quite therapeutic. The shrimp are always hard at work, keeping the tank free of algae, and their population is super healthy, which is great to see. Occasionally, some of the springtails from the land venture out onto the water's surface to snack on some of the decaying matter that's floating on top. This may seem like a good idea, but it rarely ends well. What looks like a calm surface and easy meal is actually a hunting ground. The emerald rasboras patrol the waterline and make quick work of any springtails that get too brave. They linger just beneath the surface, waiting for the slightest bit of movement before striking. It's really rewarding to see this kind of behaviour taking place inside this tank. I think it shows that the environment I created is working and that the fish are feeling comfortable enough to act naturally just how they would in the wild. Whilst the water is full of action, the land is much quieter. This part of the tank belongs to the vampire crabs. They keep out of sight, often tucked away between the hardscape or burrowed beneath the substrate. I can go months without spotting one, but the signs of their presence are always there, and that's true more now than ever. Just the other day I was doing some maintenance in the tank when something caught my eye and I really couldn't quite believe it. I was pulling out some overgrown plants when something scurried right underneath my hand. It moved like a crab, but it was way too small to be an adult. This got me thinking and looking. After searching and searching, I finally found the answer. It turns out that the adult crabs have truly been thriving in the shadows, and as a result, they've had babies. They are absolutely microscopic, and I'm really surprised that I actually managed to spot them. The setup feels more alive now than it ever has. Wherever I look, I see a tiny crab crawling about and just going about its day. Despite finding these baby crabs, I still feel like something's unanswered. Whatever I saw scurry underneath my hand was much bigger than these, and it moved a lot faster. This has got me thinking, what if there's more babies, ones slightly bigger than these that have already learned how to hide and to stay out of sight? I think the only way to truly find out is to set a trap and see what turns up. Don't worry, it's nothing harmful, and I'm just placing in a tub with some moss inside. I'm gonna place some fish food on top of the moss and hopefully it'll be irresistible and the crabs crawl in and have a quick snack. I'll set another one on the other side of the water to hopefully increase my odds. With the trap set, all that's left to do is sit back and wait to see who turns up. It's the next day, and although I haven't seen anything go into the traps, it looks like some of the fish food has been eaten, so I've got my fingers crossed. I'm going to carefully pull the moss out into this plastic tub. I know from experience that even the adults won't be able to climb out of here as the plastic is just too slick. Well, it looks like this first one's empty, so it's all down to the second. To my surprise and excitement, the trap has worked and I've not only caught one, but I've actually got two of them. These little guys are much bigger and faster than the babies that I've previously seen. They certainly match the size of what scurried underneath my hand, so I think this solves the mystery. So the mystery is solved, but what's more rewarding to me is knowing that there's multiple generations of crabs living inside this tank. The adults have bred once and they've bred again, so who's to say there's not another generation of babies even bigger than these ones lurking throughout the tank. One thing I do find interesting is that the babies lack the coloration from the adults. Whereas the adults are bright red, these are much more natural toned and camouflaged. I'm guessing their colours will develop over time, but if you've got experience with baby crabs, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think these guys have been out for long enough, so let's get them back inside their home. I don't know about you, but I think it's so cool to see that all the creatures and plants inside this ecosystem are truly thriving. To the crabs that have had babies, to the colony of shrimp, and even to the springtails that are feeding the fish and the baby crabs. Everything inside this 450-day-old tank seems to be working together just as an ecosystem should be. As for the baby crabs, I'm thinking of creating an ecosystem for a small group of them so we can watch them grow from babies all the way to adulthood. Let me know in the comments if this is something you'll be interested in seeing, and as always, thank you for watching.